Yes, so as we always say, when you're looking at a math video, you must have a pencil or a pen in hand and paper. So you can be writing as you are looking at the video. You must develop that custom, that routine of doing that. And that's the way you practice as you are, looking at the video. So please do that now. Get your pencil, your pen, and your paper or your book. You're going to call it your practice book and get ready to write. So we're talking about positive and negative numbers in arithmetic. Math always translates words to symbols. Important words that signifies quantification has its symbolic translation in math. For example, the word positive, add, plus, and, have, credit, surplus, deposit, increased by, received, towards the right. All these words is denoted by the plus sign. Okay, so that single plus symbol, these are the words that can be used to translate it. The words negative, subtract, minus, take away, owe, debit, missing, deduct, decreased by, towards the left, borrowed, give away. The symbolic translation for it is the negative sign. Now here we have a scenario of words translated to symbols with positive and negative numbers. We have scenario number 1, number 2, number 3. We're going to develop a brand new scenario number 4. I went to my math class session with 15 erasers, for example. Okay, I went to my math class session with 15 erasers. I borrowed Tom 2 erasers and I gave Henry 4 erasers. And I also gave Jill 3 erasers. Okay, now in this little paragraph, there are some keywords that signifies quantification. And so let's highlight them so that we can facilitate their translation. I went to my math class with 15. So 15 has its symbolic translation. Now erasers, although the S signifies plurality, but eraser in itself is a noun. okay, and it does not really have a mathematical translation, but it is going to play a key role there. And if a word does not have a mathematical translation, then you have the liberty, the mathematicians have the liberty, or anyone has the liberty to create a symbol for it. And normally the first letter in that word is used, you know, and if that letter is used for something else already, most time the mathematicians go to the other alphabets of different languages, like the Greek alphabet, and borrow symbols from it to facilitate its translation. But here we can use the first letter. We can use E for erasers. Now I borrowed. Borrowed is a quantitative. It signifies quantification because you are basically giving away an amount of something. Okay, so, and as we see above this, we know the symbolic translation for borrowed is a subtraction sign. The word two, or you can say two erasers, but the word two surely signifies quantification. So let's highlight it. We already highlighted the word erasers already. And the word and is a very important word in arithmetic, okay, because it signifies quantification also. You add in, okay. So in arithmetic, this symbolic translation for and is a plus, okay. In probabilities, it's a multiplication sign, but we are doing arithmetic now, so we'll use the word plus. Give, okay, you are giving away an amount of something. It has its symbolic translation. The word for has its symbolic translation, and we highlighted give already, okay. Although we highlighted erasers, we can highlight it again, and we can highlight the word give again, okay. And the word three surely signifies quantification. It has its symbolic translation, mathematical symbol for three, and we already highlighted erasers. So here we're going to translate this little worded paragraph, two-sentence paragraph, if you will, to symbolic form, mathematical symbols. So I went to a math class session with 15 erasers. So you have 15 erasers, okay? With, you can even put with, or no, you can even include with as, you know, you have in, so that's a plus. That's a plus 15, 15 is the symbolic translation for 15. Erasers, we can use E for erasers. So with 15 erasers, here it is, with 15 erasers. And then you borrowed the subtraction sign, Tom, 2 erasers. You see that? You can see the translation. And so that's a separate thing you do it now. And you give away 4 erasers to Henry. And as you can see, you see I separating it because that plus sign there is like your conjunction is a conjunction. You join into different activities. That's what the plus sign signifies here. So, and you also give Jill 3 erasers. Okay, so you can see the separation happening. Now, a rule when you are doing this symbolic manipulation, the sign of a number is always sticking to its left side. So if I have to do any separation here, for example, between plus 15E and that's a minus sign, minus 2E, that's a giving away 2 erasers, this would be wrong. This would be wrong. So also you're supposed to be writing, you know, pausing and writing, replay, okay? So please take note of that. This would be wrong. Okay, this would be like bad grammar, bad math grammar, if you want to put it that way. So good math grammar, this negative sign have to stay with the 2 because it's describing what that 2 is. It's like an adjective, if you will. It's a negative 2. It's a giving away 2. So it has to stick to the 2. So the rule of thumb, the sign of a number is always sticking to it, and it's on the left side of it because we're reading from left to right in English. Okay, and it has to, all where it's going, it has to stick with it. The sign that's to the left side of a number has to go all where that number is going. So that negative sign, you have to separate the plus 15e and the negative 2e. You have to separate them. Okay, if I have to highlight, I can highlight this, give this color code this, give this a color. I will have to include the negative sign also. Okay, color code this, include that negative sign because it belongs to the 4. All right. And this negative 3 has to be included also. Okay. So what is happening there? You started with 15 erasers, you gave away 2 erasers, and you give away 4 erasers, and you give away 3 erasers. So finally, how many erasers did you give away from the 15? Okay. Now it's very common if there isn't any number or letter to the left side and there's a plus sign, you can drop the plus sign. So if you don't see any sign, there's an invisible plus sign. So there's a plus 15e. And how many pencils you give away? How many erasers you give away in all? You give away 2 and 4, so you give away 6 and 3, so you give away 9 erasers. 9 erasers were given away. Okay. 2 and 4, that's 6 you gave away, and 3 you give away 9. So in the end, we are left with 6 erasers. So please be writing, replay and write, and that's all you practice.